The new McCrispy Strip is here. Dip approved by ketchup, tangy barbecue, honey mustard, Sprite, McFlurry, Big Mac sauce, double dipped in buffalo and ranch, more ranch, and creamy chili McCrispy Strip Dip. Now at McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Get this, adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Wondery. Greenlight.com/Wondery.
Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
This episode brought to you by the following patrons. Oh my God, she's back again. Leaf Girl, Min, Jason, Madeline, Alyssa, Vixen, Holly, Laura, Jeremy with the laser eyes, Allie, Logan, Libby, Kristen, Tia, and Jonathan. And all the patrons want you to know you're loved, you're listened to, and you're a valuable member of this awesome Horror Virgin community. And if you want to hang out with us, do so in the Facebook group where we'll be talking about crazy horror movies daily.
Yeah, so then at that point, he raised the prosthetic limb above the bar and everyone cheered. And then I watched someone take a shot out of it.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard of fall down drunk, but this shit's ridiculous.
Paige, he was literally falling over taking the shot.
He didn't have the leg. Thank you for tuning into Horror Virgin. I'm Paige.
And I'm your Horror Virgin Todd, which means I don't like scary movies, but you guys make me watch them. And this week, Paige made us watch Hard Eyes. So Paige, when was the first time you saw Hard Eyes?
Last night, or roughly 7 hours ago.
Yeah, it was really early this morning, Paige, is what it was.
Yeah, about 7 hours ago. And honestly, here's what I'll say about Hard Eyes. It's really hard to make an almost perfect rom-com and a perfect slasher at the same time. Like, I think they really kind of nailed it. Because it exists almost as a full-ass rom-com where a murder spree is just going on in the background, and then it becomes a slasher in the second half of the movie. And then they do something that I fucking wish every Scream movie would do, is they're like, by the way, it's 3 killers, spoiler, here's who it was each time.
They literally just own up to it in the moment. They were like, hey, this is how we did it.
Beautiful.
You don't even need Tim Curry running around a mansion. I'll tell you right now.
I had so much fun with this. It's not only is it a good rom-com and a good slasher, it's very funny. I enjoyed Hard Eyes a lot.
It rips off so many horror movies to the point where it just feels like a love letter to horror movies.
Yeah.
Like every time I saw Hard Eyes on the screen, I was like, oh, hey, look, it's Jason. Oh, no, sorry, it's Victor Crowley. Oh, no, it's Leslie Voorhees or Michael Myers or Ghostface or, I don't know, The Miner or The Collector. It's like, it's all of them.
At one point, they just start naming, like there's one where her friend's giving her a pep talk and they just name drop 1.5 million rom-coms into the pep talk.
Oh, it's like building her up to go to the airport, right?
Yeah, which is a hilarious detour in this movie.
Yeah, they mentioned 7 different rom-coms by title, almost in complete sequence, and it's so well written and silly. I loved it.
Yes, it was great.
Because, like, the actors in the scene have no idea they're making these pop culture references. I mean, they obviously do, but, like, they're acting it like, this is just like me building up my friend so she'll go crash the airport to, like, tell this guy she loves him.
They're in a Hallmark movie, which is hysterical. And they're playing it exactly the way a rom-com would play. And then in the middle of it, there's Jason.
Yes.
It's crazy. I love it.
The line that we were just talking about is like, her best friend, Allie's best friend, is like, listen to me, you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have someone love you for the beautiful, neurotic mess that you are. I mean, you can be so clueless sometimes. That's one.
Right.
It's one of the 10 things I hate about you, honestly. You can't let Jay go off to his best friend's wedding and hook up with a bunch of bridesmaids and move to Notting Hill. No, mama, some kind of wonderful, crazy, stupid love. Those are two different ones.
Yes, those are two back to back.
Actually, because remember it said crazy, stupid love, actually. So that's like 2.5 right there. Go get him. Go get that beautiful melanin man.
It's so good. I was like,
it's like a perfectly writ script for what we're doing, which is like a love letter to rom-coms and horror movies squished together. And like, I do think it's very formulaic, and I think it is intentionally so. Like, it's one of those movies, sort of like, not like the Wayans brothers movies, although kind of, like, they're very like referential to what tropes are in these movies. The Wayans brothers are more silly. This one's more like an actually, like, they're attempting to make a horror movie, but also show like the rom-com tropes and be like, I think it's like a love letter. It felt like a love letter to both of those genres. I don't feel like it's like derivative or mean-spirited at all. Like, it just feels like a love letter, and I kind of dug it. I really dig that aspect of it.
I dug it. It has one of my favorite director cameos of all time.
Ooh, I didn't know there was one, so I can't wait to hear who that was.
Okay, it's the guy who wrote and directed this movie.
Oh, okay, so he's in it. I got you. Okay.
He's in it, right? I've been following him since College Humor days when he had a series called Precious Plum, and it's like Honey Boo Boo, but he plays the mom. And then a fully grown adult actress in child clothes plays Honey Boo Boo, or her name is Precious Plum. But it's just that every episode is them being like, we got to drive 50 miles outside to a horse arena where a bunch of horses got the bullets so we can do Little Miss Tiny Tits. So fuck. And then you watch them go to the pageant that day. And they're all just like 10-minute sketches, and it's so funny. I love Precious Plum, and I've met him in real life one time, and I was like, I'm so sorry. Are you the guy from Precious Plum? And he was like, yes, oh my God, and he was super nice. But in this movie, apart from writing and directing it, great job, he's the guy who at the drive-in theater is like, call 911, and then just gets stabbed immediately.
Oh, perfect. That's great.
Where I was like, Joshua,
if I was ever in a horror movie, that's exactly what I would want to do.
100%.
Or honestly, just be one of the people that get killed. I don't need a speaking line. Just like stab me in the face, we're good.
Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of face stabs in this movie.
There
I
is.
enjoyed this a lot. I thought, it's not mean-spirited. It does seem to be a love letter to the genre. But I do think even within that, there is some good-natured ribbing of tropes. Like, I love that Hard Eyes has a million different weapons all the time. And like, one of them is like a cutlass, like a pirate sword.
Yeah, it's a pirate sword.
And then also
Paige.
like throwing knives that have the heart on them.
Like machine shopped, like from like a high school machine shop, tooled into the knife.
Yes.
Is a little heart.
Yes. One of my favorite characters is Michaela Watkins doing Nancy Grace, basically, in this movie as her boss.
I did love Michaela Watkins, although I love her in so much. Like, she's one of those actresses when you see her on screen, and I struggle to remember her name. She's like one of those people. She's like, oh, it's that person.
I couldn't remember her last name. I was like, it's Michaela, but then I couldn't remember.
Michaela something, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I always am like, oh, cool. We are in the hands of a seasoned character actress.
We're in good hands.
This is going to be fun. And she crushes it in like every movie she's in. She's in
so good.
And she's more than just like a caricature actress or whatever, but like she's great.
But she's a great character actress.
Yeah, she is great. I really like her a lot. One of my favorite things she did was an episode of Drunk History, honestly.
Oh, yes.
She's hilarious. But
one of my favorites, there's an SNL sketch where it's like a commercial for a mom translator. So when your mom gets celebrity names wrong, it tells you who it is.
I've seen that one, yeah.
And she's one of the moms, and she's just like, Keith, Ragu, Keanu Reeves. It's just one of my faves.
Yeah. It's just very funny. I thought it was interesting that they put their romantic lead in like clothing that makes it look like she's married to someone who's like working in the Reagan administration in the 1980s. And they like just keep her dressed like that the whole time.
I didn't mind her outfits.
Oh, I don't care. She just looks like she's on a date with a young Republican in 1995.
Very much. I do love the shopping montage that includes multiple costumes from other movies, from other rom-coms. That was hilarious.
I like the one where she comes out and her friend's just like, no. Because I do feel like sometimes when I like walk out in the front room, I'm like, Natalie, do I look all right? And she's like, no, you got to change. You look a mess. That's not where a belt goes.
That's the outfit she ends up in, which is so crazy.
I know. I thought that was funny too. I mean, she doesn't look bad. That's not what I mean. I just think she's wearing like pantsuits the whole movie.
Yeah.
She's dressed like she's running against Trump the first time.
But she does, well, we'll talk about when we go through that scene, because I wrote down some of the ones that are pretty obvious in that shopping montage. But yeah, I did really like this. I bought it so Jake could watch it later. So
I did not buy it, and I probably wouldn't really watch it again necessarily, but I do think it's a good movie. I like enjoyed it because it's not that scary. Like,
yeah, sure.
Some of the gory stuff is pretty gory.
There's some jump scares in this.
There's a few. It's not that bad though. A lot of the jump scares are super like telegraphed because like you see him behind them as they're like building up to it and stuff like that. So you sort of can like brace yourself against it. I'm not going to give it a 1, but it's not like super scary, you know, like, yeah. If you can get through The Exorcist, you can get through this, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I would say The Exorcist is way scary.
I do. I think The Exorcist is way scarier, even though it's like 70s. And I do think like there's some things from the 70s that don't hold up as much.
If you can get through Jurassic Park, you can get through this movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Jurassic Park is probably the same level of scary as this. Yeah. Or right around there. I don't remember what I gave Jurassic Park on the scary scale. So
I'd say Jurassic Park is scarier than this personally. But yeah.
I mean, listen, Hard Eyes in the Mirror is closer than he appears. You got to like watch out. That would have been a very funny shot at the drive-in.
That's the other thing. If I run into the director again, I'll ask him. Every time I hear the word heart eyes, it just makes me think of this old Vine. And I know people have seen it, but it's based on a shot from Dexter, like way back in the day when one of Dexter's, like the police that Dexter works with catches him, like loading things into his storage unit. And he just like pops out from behind a corner and just goes, surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah.
And somebody did a Vine of like 15 different like Coke and fries, motherfucker. And one of them is hard eyes, motherfucker. And he's got Post-it notes cut into hearts over his eyes like the villain in this movie. So I was like, I don't know if that's why they did it.
Paige, somebody gonna sue somebody.
So, but I was just
hard eyes, motherfucker.
Yeah, hard eyes, motherfucker. And so like as I was watching this, every time hard eyes would like orb up behind people, I'd be like, hard eyes, motherfucker. It was great.
I do love that. I also love when the, I'll say good cop, even though we find out in the reveal that she's actually one of the hard eyes killers.
Right.
When she kicks out bad cop, who we come to realize at the end of the movie is just cannon fodder for the killer. I love when the bad cop leaves and then she sits down and is like, hey, what's up? What's your deal? She's like, you have the right to remain charming. Anything you say can and will be used to make me blush. You have the right to a midnight phone call. If you can't afford dinner, one will be bought for you.
Ooh, going Dutch.
Do you understand these looks as I've been giving them to you, Paige?
Wink, wink.
With these rights in mind, do you want to smash till dawn? Listen, I may have rewritten all of the Miranda rights to fit that scene.
You did. You clearly did.
I really thought it would be funny if Jay and her like smashed just so Jay could get out of jail. And like that was, I mean, not smashed, but like he would have to flirt with her to like get her to like uncuff the key or whatever. I thought that would be funny.
I mean, instead we get a fight with the killer while he's chained to the table, which is honestly pretty fucking lit.
Yeah. Like, listen, I thought that shit was dope and I loved it. Like a lot of the action, awesome in this movie. It's really well done. It's really well shot. It is tense, but it's not like super scary like a lot of action, straight up action movies are, you know, which I enjoyed quite a bit. Although the IT guy at the end, when they're kissing.
I knew it when we met him. I was like,
oh, me too. Yeah. You don't have that much dialogue that late in a movie as a brand new character unless you are in on it. And he is. But when he is kissing the police lady, Shaw, I think is her name, and they're like making out deep. I was like, it seems like they're in love. Like, why are you, okay, whatever, this is weird, but all right, I'm kind of into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's implied that the killing is part of their kink and they were in a throuple. And they were like, then who do we kill? And they were like, Eli. And I love that they never explain who that is.
Well, he's just like a fanboy. He was just like a fanboy who found out and they like brought him in or something.
We never met him. I love that they pull the mask off him. They're like, who the fuck is that? I don't know. Like that cracked me up.
Which is like, I mean, if someone had killed the Zodiac killer, you know, at one of the killings,
Right.
they would have pulled his mask off and been like, this person has nothing to do with, I have no idea who this is, because it was just like random people, you know?
Well, it was that one random guy.
Well, no, I mean, he was just killing random people. Like that,
Yeah.
people with no connection to him. So like, if you killed a serial killer like that, you probably wouldn't know who they were.
On my drive yesterday, I was listening to Apple has a new series on the Unabomber, and part of the reason they released the manifesto was to see if anyone recognized like the belief system, basically.
Well, and the writing structure. Anyone's outside of MK Ultra, you mean? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I would say after listening to most of the series, I would say, and the MK Ultra part pretty debunked, but like it was his brother or technically it was his sister-in-law who then went to his brother, where she's like, this is absolutely
Ted. It's absolutely Ted.
This is absolutely Ted, right?
Yeah. And then his brother had to like grapple with turning him in, which is like a terrible thing.
Yep.
But I get it, you know, like.
Oh, 100. But it is that kind of thing of like, you know, the FBI and people were looking at all kinds of people and they're like, no, it's just this guy. Like, it's just this random guy.
Oh, it's just this weird guy who's been living in the woods in a shack with no power, who literally hates the government and talks about it to everyone he runs into.
And technically hates technology specifically, but yes.
True, yeah.
But yeah, I love that when they finally unmask, they're just like, who is this?
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense. That's how it would be in like real life. So I was here for it.
Yeah, I think it's funny because like you as a moviegoer who has watched a number of these and has probably watched Scooby-Doo are like, who's it gonna be? And at first I thought I was like, it's gonna be the IT guy.
Well, you were right.
So like I had already kind of clocked it. I was technically right, but like
I thought that too, though. I think they do this beat on purpose because they think you think it's gonna be the IT guy. And then they're like, it wasn't the IT guy. And then later they're like, nah, you were right.
Yeah, you were right. But I love that they're just like, who is it? Just a random dude. Like, you're fully expecting, like, the janitor. And I would have gotten away with it, too, if it weren't for you. Like, no, it's just...
It's just fucking Eli. It's just Eli, man. He's just like
Eli,
this clinger,
man.
hanger-on guy who, like, really liked what we were doing and then, like, wanted to join. I do love that this movie's like killer is also, I think, like most men's scariest killer. And I'll tell you why. At least men about 1 month to 6 months into a new relationship. And that is because it forces you to immediately have a define the relationship conversation. So like when he shows up and like when they're first meeting or whatever, and it's like forcing them to be like, we are not together. Like we haven't even dated. Like I just met him today. We're coworkers at best. He's a contractor. Like he doesn't even work for the company I work for. Like I really loved that. Like every time this killer shows up, you have to define the relationship with the person you're with.
I think my favorite one is they like escape. They get out of the police station and he like saves her from an oncoming truck. They're like lying in the road. They're about to kiss and he comes out and she just goes like, we're not a couple.
Right.
Like, wait, I want to kiss him, but like it's undefined.
Right. That's what I love about it so much. And at the end of the movie, I do really love the emotional beat of we can keep running from commitment, which is them running out of the drive-in theater that they just listened to two people have half sex in.
Oh, that cracked me up. Yes.
They're like running away from there because Hard Eyes is now there. And so they decide, no, we're going to face this fear of commitment together and we're going to hold hands and walk towards certain death, which, guys, is the perfect metaphor for marriage. And I don't mean like you get killed immediately when you make that commitment.
Right,
I mean like
but till death
if
do you
it works,
part.
exactly. If it works out, it might be a very, very long life until death,
Sure.
but that's where it ends up, you know? And so it is kind of like this sweet, and I'm sure it wasn't done on accident. It's like this sweet sort of like, this is what love kind of is. It's like choosing your person and then facing down death for the rest of your life together.
Yeah.
So like on some level, it is this like sweet, silly homage to horror and rom-com tropes, but it also sort of does nail like an emotional metaphor that carries weight. And I love that it like bakes in that attentionality, even if it is a little silly and campy. I'm here for that. I love silly camp. So like I really did enjoy the movie. I thought it was great.
I love it. Should we talk about it scene by scene?
I was going to say, yeah, Paige, maybe we should just go through it like scene by scene or something.
Let's go. We open on
The saddest proposal ever. Paige, this proposal is for likes
Oh, yes.
and not at all for love.
Yes. What is the song? Because I like recognized it, but I was like, I don't know who does this.
Paige, it's Lone Star's Amazing.
Lone Star. That's
Every
what it
time
was.
our eyes meet
This feeling
inside
inside me.
me, I wanna stab you in the face. Bum, 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 bum. It's actually it is a well-written country ballad.
Don't know how you do the things you do. I'm gonna murder you. Just keeps getting bloody. Yeah, no,
Stab, 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 stab. It's great.
The second it started playing, I started laughing. And
I
I was
know.
like, this movie knows exactly what it's doing.
I know. I remember when that song came out, I was like in middle school or something. I heard it on the radio and I was like 13 and I was like, this shit cheesy as fuck, dog. Like,
You weren't like, this is what love is.
but it's also like super singable. Like, I understand why people like the song because it's like a well-written country ballad. I just don't like country ballads necessarily.
Here's what I will tell you, because I'm not a country person, although I am going to see Beyonce tomorrow. What?
You know, famous country artist.
It's her country tour.
Beyonce. I'm not saying she didn't do a country album. I'm just saying she isn't famous for that.
No, but she still did it better. Anyway, I don't listen to country.
I don't listen to any country either if it's Beyonce or anybody.
I texted y'all recently because I heard a Morgan Wallen song for the first time. And I was like, this is fucking awful. Like, why do people listen to this?
I don't know.
But I am nostalgic for 90s country because I feel like 90s country was a great era for country. And that's what this is like, but that's like your Faith Hills, your Shania Twains, like that era I can get down with.
I honestly do think country music peaked at Shadazy's Little Goodbyes. You're right.
Oh, okay. I can agree with that.
And I am just partial because they sang at my brother's funeral, but
still,
it's not a bad song. It's in the vein of like your Dixie Chicks and your Shania Twains and like all of that.
That era. Yeah.
It's definitely that era of country music.
Yeah. My husband will get down with some Sturgill Simpson, but other than that, 90s country. And I'm like,
Sure.
All right. This I can vibe with.
Yeah.
None of this like pickleball and float rafts, beer in the pool, and like nonsense. I can't. I fucking can't. I refuse.
Are you singing a country song or just describing what Mikey will be doing this summer?
What's the difference? Because like every modern country song I hear is just like beer in her tits and with the red cups and boots and I'm cheating and it's the same shit. They all sound the fucking same. Sorry.
Yeah, you've heard him.
I got to get off my soapbox.
You've heard him.
This song, good. This song's good. He proposes, he feeds her a strawberry, and I do love that she's like, I told you not to put it in my food.
Which, like, I get, because, like, I don't want to swallow a ring.
No, of course not. And so he, like, takes it out and, like, re-proposes, and then his phone rings, and it's Pony by Genuine. And I'm like, high five everyone who worked on this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like, this is hilarious. And it's the photographer who's like, I didn't get it. Can you redo it? Can you redo it? And they're like, oh, fine. Yeah, fine. We'll redo it. What's the weirdest photo you've seen people redo, Todd?
Paige. From like a people watching standpoint, I once watched some girl try to probably 8 times to get a picture where she was on her hands, like doing a handstand. And then I assume it was the steeple from Jackson Square in New Orleans. And she kept falling over and her camera was on like a little tripod. Like, so it was very close to the ground because she had to get the shot under her arms, but she kept falling onto her phone, like onto her camera. And it like, I was probably 30 feet away at Cafe Du Monde eating like beignets.
Yeah, no, I have sat and done this exact thing.
Yeah. You can just like see her falling. It was like, ma'am, practice more and then come back and do this.
The funniest one I've seen people redo was at my cousin's wedding where they released doves, but I think we weren't ready for the doves, like as the like audience at the wedding. And the sound of the door to release the doves sounded kind of like a gunshot. So like, it was like, bang! And everyone was like, ah! And then there were just birds everywhere.
Now you know how the cast of Mission Impossible 2 feels.
Right. And it was when they were like, you may kiss the bride. Bang! Ah! So the photographer had to come up and be like, all right, we're going to do that one more time. Everyone applaud.
And stop looking like you're afraid you're getting shot at.
Yeah. It was great. That was also the one that had the kid that accidentally handcuffed himself together. Great wedding. Just all around, 10 out of 10.
Love it.
Anyway, So they do it again, but before they can do it, who should show up and stab that photographer literally through the camera with a cutlass but Hard Eyes?
It's like literally through the lens, which is probably 7 inches, and then the camera of the body that's probably 3. And so that's a long sword. That's why she's like, it's not a machete, it's a cutlass. Like it's a long
cutlass,
machete looking sword cutlass.
Like,
yeah,
you've seen Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean, that kind of shit.
Yeah,
like that's what he's holding. It's a cutlass. But we get a scream. He comes over. He also has a crossbow with like expandable arrows. So he gets the boyfriend through the eye.
Yeah.
She runs. Like, now it is a horror movie and they're in a vineyard. So she's like running through the vineyard and he calls her phone so he can find out where she is. He crossbows through her foot and it's fucking brutal. Because she like runs on it and you're just like, oh no.
Honestly, it's very stigmata. Like, I wasn't a fan of it. It shoots right through her foot and then she has to like hobble on her foot while running. And she's like toe punching the ground with that foot and then running kind of normally with the other one because it's fine. But yeah, that looked painful. But when she gets to the winery and like busts in like I guess it's like the basement door where they probably keep like kegs of wine and like the wine making equipment or whatever. And she sees a security guard who's like, hey, ma'am, you're not allowed to be here. And then Hard Eyes kind of busts in. And so the security guard who doesn't know what's going on. So I understand why he didn't automatically just start shooting.
Right.
But that's what he should have done because Hard Eyes shoots him in the face with the crossbow too. But if I was this lady.
Oh, he throwing knives, that guy.
That's right. That's where we first see the machine tooled heart. Yeah, in the throwing knives. But this lady, instead of like picking up the gun and shooting him, because the security guard did have a gun, she just like runs and hides in what is eventually going to crush her because this is where the grapes get squeezed.
Right. And Hard Eyes eventually just turns it on, crushes her, and then it pours out the like spigot into a barrel of wine that just says, I do, like Bordeaux, but do.
Yeah.
Which is great and terrible.
Which I believe is a red, right? I'm just saying they probably wouldn't even notice.
Probably a blend.
It is now, for sure. It's a Bordeaux negative.
Yeah, there you go. Bordeaux negative. But title card, Hard Eyes.
Yeah, it's a good cold open. Like, I mean, it is not rewriting horror tropes.
No.
It is like living up to them, though. So if you're into them, you're going to like it. I liked it. I thought it was cool.
It lets me know exactly what kind of movie this is about to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then they do, and I will call this one of the most brilliant exposition dumps I've ever seen. This was a great way to do this, where it's all of the different news reports and interviews that give you, this is who the killer is, this is why they kill people, this is how they kill people, this is what you should look out for.
And also the passage of time since this killing that started the movie, because it's been like 2 years already, almost 3.
No. The killing that started the movie started the Seattle one, so it's the day before.
Oh, shit, you're right, sorry.
Yes.
But it goes back and gives the chronological history. You're right, my bad.
Right.
But yeah.
But this automatically lays out everything in like a minute and a half. Because, spoiler, this movie's 97 minutes long. Perfect pacing. It's incredible.
For the type of movie it is as long as it should be. Like, it is great.
Exactly. We cut to Allie, who is sitting alone, which we already know. It's Valentine's Day. She's alone. Sad. She has the same coffee order as another guy in the coffee shop. They have kind of a meet cute. I do love that she's got the metal straw and he's like, oh, but the plastic cup is fine. I was like, thank you.
Yeah, I really like when movies point out how not dumb the metal straw is, because I love the metal straw. Like, I have nothing wrong with that. But like companies saying that it's like, well, it's the consumer's fault for the plastic that we use.
Right,
like, that's bullshit.
Right.
I'm not saying don't use a metal straw. It's great if you do. But like Starbucks being like, well, the consumer is the problem when they're the ones deciding what they're making their shit out of is a nuts stance.
Right.
So I like when movies point it out. I don't feel like he's like making fun of her about using it. It's like a sweet thing. But
I think it's more that he's like, the straw is not the only problem.
Exactly.
It's great that you do that, but like that is a drop in the bucket of what the problem is.
Exactly.
Anyway, they have kind of an awkward meet cute. They bonk heads a couple times. She gives him a bloody nose and she's like, I'm going to go. I'm getting fired today. I just got to go. Right.
It's very clear that she's still like hung up on her ex because she keeps stalking him on social media.
Yes.
Like we see him probably, no joke, 12 times before we meet him, which is great.
Right.
Because when we meet him, it's like at an impactful moment. We understand what's happening and it's like a great reveal. I'm not saying that, but like, in this moment when she meets, it's Jay. The guy she meets here is the guy she ends up with, right?
Right.
This is their coffee meet cute kind of.
Mm-hmm.
But like she's still so hung up on her ex. She has no chemistry with him really in this moment because she's so hung up on that the other guy, which honestly, like when we meet him, I don't get it, Paige.
I don't get it.
Jay's standing right in front. I
don't get it. Even the accent doesn't save it.
I don't get it.
I was kind of hoping he was hard eyes, but no.
He just never got over her. So like,
right.
Yeah.
We cut to her job where we meet Crystal, her boss, played by Michaela Watkins. And Michaela Watkins doing a perfect Nancy Grace impression because she's just like, I don't know why none of y'all told me there was a maniac on the loose. Like, why did none of y'all tell me? And then her assistant just goes, none of you. And I was just like,
her assistant is my
incredible.
favorite person in this scene because I get the vibe that like she wants to be able to say things, but she can't because she runs the business. So she hired this guy because he can say
them.
it. Yeah.
Because he can say it.
And he is just like catty and mean and like perfect. He's like he would be terrible to work with, but I love him as a character in a movie. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, and this made me laugh so hard because she was just like, so why didn't y'all tell me that we built an entire Valentine's Day campaign when there's been a murderer for 2 years on Valentine's Day? And then they play the campaign and it's all of like famous star-crossed lover deaths.
Yeah.
So it's like Romeo and Juliet, Rose and Jack and Rose on the door, and like
from Titanic,
and there was a couple others, Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah. But it is terrible. Like, listen, I understood why Crystal or Michaela was very upset and pissed because the lady who we're following as our hero and now final girl, honestly, is terrible at her job. Like she fundamentally does not believe in the emotion she's trying to play on to make the people feel called to action, to buy a ring.
Yes.
Like she's just bad at her job, guys. She's terrible.
She is. Well, and I kind of love that because the fact that we have an advertising job, a perfect shot at rom-coms because like 90% of the time that's somebody's job. Secondly, usually they're incredible at their job and people just don't understand them.
Right.
Not this movie.
No, she's just bad at it. They show the commercial and it is tone deaf and stupid.
So funny.
Like it looks like a De Beers commercial, like a Diamond commercial.
Yes.
Because it's just like vignettes of scenes, not real scenes of anything.
In black and white with only the pop of red color. Yes.
Well, and the pop of red color is always like a sheet that's like pulled around them. And it's like the waves around Jack hiding or holding on to the door, or like when they get shot, it's like little pops of red off of them that are like clearly cloth, but like it's artistically a cool shot. It's just a terrible commercial.
Yes.
Like, listen, some people can't do what I do. A lot of people can. It's not a hard job. It's a lot of common sense. And this is a good example of like, she just shouldn't be working here.
Yeah.
Like, I think at the end of the movie, she goes back to medical school. Like, I think she knows she's not great at this.
Right. But Crystal introduces Jay, who's going to come in and contract for this job. Jay happens to be the guy that she ran into in the coffee shop.
But this very much sets up, I think, like the enemies to lovers trope.
Yes.
Which they don't necessarily play on a ton, but it is like, oh shit, the cute guy from the coffee shop is now the guy they hired to, quote, probably replace me.
Take my job. Yeah.
Or at least to fix my fuck up and then they're going to fire me.
Right.
Because it's very hinted by the lady who runs it, which is Michaela, that she is going to fire her at the end of her 6-month contract. Well, her contract only has 6 months left on it,
Right. So we cut to the crime scene at the winery, which is where we meet Hobbs and Shaw.
Which are the two detectives, yeah.
Which we won't find out that's their name for another 20, 30 minutes, but whoo, is it fun. But it's Jordana Brewster and some other guy who I recognize but couldn't place.
I could look it up. Hang on.
Every time I
Paige, you ready? Detective Zeke Hobbs was played by Final Destination alum Devon Sawa.
I knew I'd seen him somewhere.
Yep.
Yes.
That's
it. I wasn't thinking, but you're right. And I remember Mikey telling us about this, that it was Devon Sawa and Jordana Brewster. Yes. Okay. Yeah, perfect casting. And he's hilarious in it. He did a great job.
He is great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I spent the whole time being like, who is that? I'm as bad as Michaela Watkins in that sketch where I'm just like, Derek Smith, Devon Sawa. Okay, so they're looking at the crime scene. And this is where we establish that, like, Jordana Brewster's character is always, like, swiping on Tinder and, like, you know, looking for people. And he's like, you need someone who can handle you. Like, this is their kind of partner chemistry.
Right.
I love them as a pair. They're really fun.
I like him as a pair too, yeah.
But this is where they get the last picture from the wedding photographer. He happened to catch a picture of heart eyes. Great. Now we know it's the heart eyes killer. Now we know what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We cut back to the ad campaign. And at this point, she ends up talking to her boss. And she's like, I can't believe you just fired me in front of everybody. She's like, oh, I didn't fire you. I've got your contract for another 6 more months and I'm going to squeeze all that work out of you.
Yeah.
So turn in a campaign or I'll kill you. I wouldn't. I'll blacklist you though. Or maybe I'll kill you. And then she just leaves.
I do love that it's like an unhinged conversation with someone you know isn't the killer, but might kill her.
Might kill her. We cut to her in the bathroom at work and they're reading, like, they already put this campaign out on Instagram and they're just reading the comments. The comments on that Instagram, as someone who posts content, nourishment for my soul. Because they're so ridiculous. Like, there are times where you will get comments that you're just like, did this person even watch the thing? Like, why are they mad at me? Like, I don't understand.
Right.
And there's a lot of them are this. It's like, you get why they're mad. And some of them are just like, this is tone deaf or whatever. But then there's a couple that are like, honestly, this is like offends me for this way. And you're like, I don't even know how. Like, please explain. I have no idea. But he stalks them into the bathroom and he's like, hey, I'm sorry about earlier. I'm going to go catch a yoga class. But then I got us a table to talk through the plans at dinner because I have to take the first flight out. And she's like, it's Valentine's Day. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, you got plans. And she's like,
no,
I don't, but like, I don't really want to be at a fancy restaurant. And he's like, great, see you at 8.
It was crazy to me how easy it was for him to get a reservation at a fancy restaurant at 8 o'clock on Valentine's Day.
It was nuts.
Yeah.
But we cut to her and her work friend having drinks after. And one of my favorite parts of this is we find out that her work friend has a sugar daddy, or she calls it a sponsor.
Right. A sexual sponsor.
Yeah, I never had a sugar daddy. I never needed a sugar daddy because I ain't that kind of girl.
I mean, he's paid off her $100,000 debt on the credit card she has. And now that might be hyperbole. It might just be a lot.
Well, I think it was the 100,000 student loans, and then he gave her just a credit card.
Oh, God, that's right.
Yeah.
So she paid $100,000 to go to college to work in marketing, guys.
In advertising. Yeah.
That's sad.
Good for them.
I'm sure she learned what it was like to do marketing 20 years ago. Good for her.
Yeah, exactly, right? But I love that this is where Allie is like, are you sure Arthur, who's her sponsor, are you sure Arthur's not hard eyes? And she's like, oh my God. Nah, he's got arthritis. He can't run that fast.
No, it's definitely not him. Yeah, it can't be him.
It can't be him. And they're like, well, what if it's our boss? You know, when like her Botox gets stuck, and boy, is that a look when that happens to people.
Yeah.
But they decide that they're going to go on a shopping spree and fuck up that credit card.
And they do.
Yeah, we get a montage of Stacey Dash's dress from Clueless, Romy and Michelle dresses, the Pretty in Pink dress. It's a whole bunch of like, oh, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah.
All right.
But eventually she just raids Nancy Reagan's closet and they settle on that.
Yeah.
And she was the throat goat, so I get it.
If your dog could talk, they'd probably ask for Ollie. Ollie delivers clean, fresh nutrition in 5 drool-worthy flavors, all made in U.S. kitchens with high-quality, human-grade ingredients. No fillers, no preservatives, just real food, gently cooked and delivered fresh. It's like giving your pup a starring role in their own feel-good movie, not a horror flick. After a quick quiz about your dog's weight and activity, Ollie creates a meal plan just for them. You'll get a welcome kit with 2 weeks of meals and a guide to help your dog switch over. Dogs deserve the best, and that means fresh, healthy food. Head to ollie.com/freshpup, tell them all about your dog, and use code FRESHPUP to get 60% off your welcome kit when you subscribe today. Plus, they offer a clean bowl guarantee on the first box, so if you're not completely satisfied, you'll get your money back. That's OLLIE.com/freshpup and enter code FRESHPUP to get 60% off your first box.
Are you ready to rock big savings? Rakuten's Big Give Week is a festival of savings with 15% cash back at hundreds of stores. We're talking 15% cash back at Expedia, Ray-Ban, Stanley, and more. Shoppers in the know get the best savings when they use Rakuten. They shop the brands they love and earn cash back on top of deals. Big Give Week is only once a year, and the cashback rates are through the roof. I'll be shopping for some new beauty products and home essentials while getting 15% cash back on it all. I get my cash back sent directly to my PayPal, and it feels so good whenever I see it hit my account. Join for free today and get a $20 welcome bonus. Hurry! Big Give Week ends May 12th, and there won't be an encore. Go to Rakuten.com or download the Rakuten app. That's Rakuten, Rakuten.com.
We cut to the restaurant where he's late and she does something unhinged, where the restaurant brings her a drink with a straw in it, which means that straw is already unwrapped, it's used, it's being thrown away, there's nothing you can do about it. She takes it out and uses her metal straw anyway.
Yeah, I saw that.
Girl, what? Like,
but also, like, if it's a habit and you want to keep the habit so you don't forget to do it next time, great. But, like, it's already been used. Like, they're not going to then reuse that straw on something.
I have some silicone reusable straws at home that I use.
Sure.
But I can't do the metal ones because it tastes like metal. I can taste the straw.
Yeah, I suppose you can always kind of taste the straw.
I mean, for plastic, I don't taste it.
Well, I mean.
I don't know. Anyway, she sets the straw aside. He shows up. He orders champagne. He's clearly trying to play this as a date. This is not a work outing.
I think he's trying to point out to her in this moment that, like, romance is okay.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the trope we're playing on in these ads. And we need to break a story, so let's have a conversation about it. And he's, like, trying to get to know her as a person and, like, what's going on with you? Like, why are you this broken mess of a, like, romance hater? Like, and he, like, does call correctly some things, like, that she's been broken up with. And, well, although we find out that she broke up with him, but she's still obsessed with him, though.
Yeah. Well, and here's why I think he's trying to play this as a date. Because later on, he's like, I rush into stuff and I kind of love bomb people and I don't mean to. And I think that's what he's doing here. I think he liked her at the coffee shop and he's like, I know that it's weird because of the job, but I'm still going to shoot my shot. And I think that's what this is.
I mean, maybe. I also got that, like, I think he's really good at his job. And being really good at his job has made him realize how to get most out of the people he has to work with just because they're the ones at whatever company, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think he went into this like, how do I get this lady who I have to create this project with to understand what love is?
Right.
Because, like, that's the trope we're playing on in these ads, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, eventually, he does fall pretty quickly. So, like, it might already be happening in that moment, Paige. I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah. I think he falls and then falls out and falls back. Does that make sense?
Yeah. When she abandons him. Yeah.
But she leaves the restaurant. He chases her out. They run into her ex. And before her ex sees them, she pulls him in for a kiss so that it looks like they're a couple, so that she doesn't have to be single in front of her ex.
And he plays along immediately.
Yes.
She never has to go like, be cool about this. Or like, just like look at him weird. He's just like accepts the kiss, doesn't act weird about it. And maybe Paige, it's because he was kind of into it too.
Yeah.
And then when it's revealed that it's her ex, he's like, oh yeah, no, I'm her boyfriend.
I'm her boyfriend. Yeah. Immediately. He knows what's going on.
Like if that had happened to me, now I would be a little upset because I'm clearly married, you know, like that's not cool. Right. But like he's single. If that had happened to me when I was single, I would at least be like, yeah, sure, it's fine. Like, I'll play along for the 10 minutes your ex-boyfriend's around, and then I'm going to get my own Uber and go home.
Yeah, I think my favorite is she says friend, he says boyfriend.
Yes. Yeah.
So, like, he plays along harder than she even does.
I love it, though, because you really want people in your life who are going to yes and you in those moments 100%. And, like, just be on your team no matter what. And it's clear that he is, and I love that.
He is. My favorite part of the scene, though, is when her boyfriend, her ex, and his new girlfriend revealed that they were supposed to have dinner with the couple who got murdered at the winery.
Yeah.
And I love that both of them like, still kept the reservation, though. Like, okay, all right, that's all right.
That actually made the most sense to me, that the kind of couple that would plan such a vapid and like about the likes, not the love proposal of it all would 100% still keep a reservation because they're vapid, not great people. Like, I got why she broke up with them.
Yeah, absolutely. But we cut to, they end up sharing a cab, or he gets into his Uber is there and she gets in with him. He's like, oh, you're coming with me, because she's like, don't leave me here with my ex, basically, right?
I love that. I loved it so much. I love them in the back of the car just like chatting. And the Uber driver is very much like, oh, two people in love, because he's like got a couple of passengers. Let's just say it that way, maybe.
Sure.
But they seem like they might be a little into each other. They just kissed. And so he's making an assumption, sure. But they're both like, no, we're not together or whatever.
Right.
But the driver's like, I have the sexiest Spotify playlist that I want to turn on. And I don't know, Nancy Reagan or whatever, the lady, Allie is her name, I guess.
Yes.
She is like, no. But Jay is like, I love Spotify.
I love Spotify.
He's just like, I love Spotify. Like, let's roll it.
Here's the funniest part of that scene, though, is this movie, I don't think cost all that much.
I'll reveal.
I think they did this for a fairly low budget.
I'll reveal later.
But they've already paid to have the rights to some big songs. But they can't do that all the time. So at this point, when they're in the car, it's a fake romance song. But if you have subtitles on, you can see the lyrics, and it's the funniest shit ever. And they do this 2 or 3 times in the movie where it's like, when you love someone, but you can't tell them yet, and you don't need them to know because you love them. And it's so
That's
funny.
awesome. Yeah.
I was dying. I was like, oh God, I want to hear this whole song because it's done very, it's innocuous. You don't immediately hear it.
Yeah.
But if you're watching with subtitles, you see it and you're like, wait a second. And then you start listening for it and you're like, okay, madness. I love it. Anyway, they get to her house. She forgot her keys and is like, oh, fuck. Okay. I got to break in, I've got a spare, but it's under the mat upstairs. And he's like, you're going to break your hand if you break in. Let me break in. And he still ends up getting a huge chunk of glass in his hand.
Paige, this moment reminded me a lot of Ryan Gosling from The Nice Guys at the beginning
Yes.
when you're just first meeting his character as this private eye. And he's talking all this sometimes you got to stay up late and break into a bar to get a credit card receipt or whatever. And he just it shows him wrapping the towel around his hand or rag around his hand like they do in this. And then he punches the window like they do in this. And he cuts his arm so bad the next shot is him in an ambulance to the hospital.
Yeah.
To me, it's such a funny moment. And I love that they sort of do a similar thing here.
They do, because she takes him upstairs
Yeah.
to let him wash off, but her apartment is filthy. This was me as a single girl being like, oh God, only cleaning up for people coming over.
Yeah, I know. ADHD, it's a problem. Yeah.
It's a problem. They also reveal that she just wore Pikachu costumes everywhere as a child, which as a child who wore her Peter Pan costume everywhere, game recognized game.
Paige.
Yes?
I have to see these photos. I'm calling Jim right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, I might be able to do that for you. Hold on. I'm going to text my mom.
Yeah, text the mom. Don't make me text Papa Jim.
Okay. Anyway, we'll await that. I will reveal it when it comes to me. But so she kind of repairs his hand, and this is where you find out that she dropped out of med school because she didn't like blood. But the whole reason she went is because her dad, and we will find out it was her dad. She doesn't reveal it in this moment, but her dad was dying and she was trying to find a way to save him, essentially.
Yeah.
But what happens is she notices that her vibrator is out on the counter and goes to try and hide it in the closet. And who's in the closet? Hard Eyes. Now, I want to lay this out because I noticed this when I was watching the movie. They walk in, she leaves the front door open.
Mistake.
And escorts him to the bathroom to get him to wash stuff off and then comes back out into the room. Because if you're thinking, well, how did Hard Eyes get in there? That's how, literally the movie left it open.
Yeah.
It actually made sense. He could have gotten in there. It works. I appreciate that attention to detail.
Here's the detail I appreciate. She hits Hard Eyes in the face with her dildo.
Yes.
And then we see it on the floor still vibrating as they're running out of the room. And that shit made me laugh.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because she is they're talking and he's sitting on the bed, nursing his wound or whatever. And then she sees it on her nightstand.
Yes.
And so she sneaks over, grabs it and sort of hides it in front of her as she walks backwards. And then as she passes him, she moves it around behind her so he can't see it at any point.
Right.
And then she opens the closet door and Hard Eyes is there and she just whips it at him. So now it's so funny to me. I loved it. It's she's using the evidence of her loneliness to combat Hard Eyes, and that made me laugh.
Yes.
Did you get the picture, Paige? I see you reacting to your phone.
I did get the picture.
Let me see it. Oh my God, Paige. I kind of love that picture of you as Peter Pan.
Right?
That's amazing.
It's pretty great.
It is.
I wore it all the time. My mom made that costume.
Wait, she made that?
My mom made that. Yeah, my mom made most of our costumes for a while.
That looks professionally made. That looks great. Well done. Well done, mama. Also, like, you text her like 3 minutes later, she's got the photo. Like, she knows where that photo is.
I know. Okay, so she throws it and then immediately shuts the closet and they run. They immediately run. She pulls off his belt to keep the door closed and then they run out onto the street. Like, they are immediately running.
That's why she pulled off his belt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they are being chased by a murder. That's definitely why she pulled off the belt, but it was just funny.
Well, and I like that he stabs through the door.
Yeah.
But then they like run all the way down. They get to their Uber driver and someone has shot their Uber driver because Hard Eyes is already out and after them.
Right.
I love that later in the movie when we find out who Hard Eyes is, they're like, it was two of us. This is how we did it. I was like, oh my God, they're like all of the loose ends tied. It makes Paige's screenwriter brain very happy.
It made me very happy too, because it is somewhat implausible that Hard Eyes would be on the street.
Yes.
And not coming from inside the apartment. Like, I could get that maybe they broke the door down or whatever, but they're fully on the street. So that was like a, that's not where they should be coming from moment.
Right.
That has to be explained by a second person. Or just honestly, like a lot of other movies like this, just is never explained.
Well, and I think that's why I liked that they explained it, because in Scream, they would just never explain. They would just be like, there's two of us.
Right.
Decide when there were two of us. And usually in these scenes, the other two is with them, so it's implausible still. And so they're just banking on you not thinking about it.
Right.
And in this one, they're like, I shot the Uber driver. I was in your apartment. And you're like, there it goes. There it is.
I know.
Like, puzzle fits. So the Uber driver's dead. They go running. He chases them. They run through this like kind of alley tunnel thing and they're fighting off Heart Eyes. They're like hitting him, with like a pylon thing. But eventually Jay falls down and gets knocked unconscious. So Allie goes running. She ends up on a carousel where Hard Eyes chases her on the carousel.
Yeah, which I love wooden carousels like this.
Sure.
Because they're like, honestly, kind of works of art. I'm not sure if this one is like a solid wood carousel. There are a few in the U.S. still that you can like go see and stuff. And they are pretty cool. But I do love that like Hard Eyes turns it on, turns it up, and they're just spinning around. And as she's standing up, it might be Jordana Brewster at this point, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But whoever it is comes over and like starts cutting off horse heads.
Yes.
With the cutlass. Like, it's nuts. It's so funny to me.
It's nuts. It's a good question. Is it Jordana Brewster or the other guy? I think it's the other guy, and Jordana Brewster was in the apartment, because remember, she was in the apartment. He was the one who shot the Uber driver.
Yeah, so this is probably the IT guy, right?
So this is the IT guy. Jordana Brewster finally breaks her way out of the apartment, finds Jay unconscious, and dresses him up like Hard Eyes.
Yeah, you're right.
And then shows back up on the scene as the cop.
It's got to be the IT guy.
It's got to be, yeah. So the IT guy's chasing her, but that fits. Everyone is where they're supposed to be.
It does. Yeah. Or everyone is somewhere they could be. You know what I'm saying? It's plausible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she finally kind of fights him off long enough that he goes running. The cops show up and she's like, oh my God, there he is. And they're like, yeah, we got him. And they've arrested Jay because they found him in the mask, who I'm sure Jordana Brewster's character Shaw called that in. I'm sure.
Right.
Of like, I found the guy.
Was Jay passed out? Like, did she like...
Jay passed out, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's how she was able to pull that off without him knowing she was actually Hard Eyes, right?
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, because even if he woke up as she was dressing her up, she's like, we got you, buddy.
Yeah.
But they've already loaded him into the back of the car. This is where we find out that their names are Hobbs and Shaw, which I think is hilarious.
It is very funny, yeah.
But they take him to the police station, and they have this argument of he from the back of the car, Allie from outside. He's like, you ditched me. And she's like, I was being chased. Like, which I think when you find out that it's multiple killers, both of them are right.
Well, they both say they were being chased, and they both are right. They both were being chased, yeah.
They both are right. They both were being chased. Anyway, we get to the interrogation room, and they've got this ring that they found at the winery with the initials. And I do love that he's like, cool, I'm not married, but who gets their own initials in their own wedding band? Great thing to note.
Yeah.
And it will turn out that he is right about this, but we just have not thought about who else has those initials in this movie.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have my initials in my own wedding band.
Right, because it's the IT guy's wedding band.
Well, no, I know.
That's why he's got Shaw's initials, yeah.
Yeah, of course. But like, I thought that was such like an obvious duh. Like,
I know, and I hadn't thought about it. I was like, oh my God, he's got the same initials. He's like, why would I have my own initial? And I was like, oh, he's right. He's right about that one.
Do you have anything engraved in your wedding ring?
No.
Natalie and I got something engraved in ours.
Oh, is it Elvish?
No.
I know like so many people who have Elvish in their wedding bands.
Me too. Like, I am a Lord of the Rings nerd. So is Natalie. Like, I said no, but like, that probably could have been an option. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But no, it just says a lifetime of adventures.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great.
We actually have like we have a lot of stuff around that's like sort of that theme. Like, she got me a compass that says some sweet stuff in it, and it's like it's really sweet. We like to travel and stuff,
sweet.
so yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love it.
Anyway, they interrogate him, and they play good cop, bad cop. She sends Devon Sawa out of the room, and then it's like, hey, you could tell me I'm a good cop. How long have you known her? Like 14 hours? You're not married? Have you never been married? Okay, so you're single. Nice. So how many times have I seen you?
This is when she should be reading him his Miranda rights, but instead she's becoming Miranda from Sex and the City.
She is becoming Miranda from Sex and the City, but I do want you to note that you should be read your Miranda rights at the time of arrest, which means when they were putting him in the car. That's why on Law and Order you always see them like, you have the right to remain hitting your head on the top of the car.
It just didn't work for the joke if it was already done.
I know, but it would be. But no, this is her shooting her shot, and she really shouldn't have. They got to stop shooting innocent people.
Yeah, listen, I wish cops would stop shooting their shot on people. I actually do think, like, there's definitely a couple out there that the police officer pulled over somebody and then they eventually got married. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm sure.
And I want their story.
I told you earlier today that I got pulled over late last night coming home. And thankfully, he let me off with a warning, basically.
Paige, you're a married woman. How dare you?
I am. But he was very hot and very sweet. And I was like, okay, thank you. And he's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just get home safe. And I was like, okay, all right. And so, yeah, no, I feel like that might have happened to people. But I will say probably not most people. It's probably rare.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah. I got lucky. Anyway, so... Meanwhile, Allie's been waiting in the waiting room for like an hour and is just like, I ditched him, but I'm trying to like make it right. I'm so sorry. We almost got murdered, but I know that they didn't catch Hard Eyes because that's not him, because like he was passed out and we were being chased by Hard Eyes together. But we also reveal that Jay was in Boston and Philly during the last Hard Eyes killings.
Which is interesting, but we have fully seen him running on screen with Hard Eyes behind him. So we know it's not him, or at least...
It's not only him.
It's not only him. Right. Yeah.
Right. But they essentially they're set on him. It's not looking good. But Jordana Brewster's like, hey, I can hear something outside. I'm going to go out. She goes out and talks to Allie. And Allie is like, or no, that's what it is. Allie asks the front desk lady for info. The front desk lady comes in and is like, Jordana Brewster, I have a hysterical white woman out here. And she's like, all right, fine. They go out there and they're like, hey, it's not looking good. You don't really know him. We still have to ask him questions. Like, we can't just let him go. Why is he after you? And she's like, well, we kissed, but we're not a couple. It's this whole thing. And then at that point, Jordana Brewster's like, so you're not a couple. So he's like available, like
Jordana is thirsty for Jay the whole movie.
The whole
movie. I get it. Like, Jay's well put together,
very attractive.
Yeah, he's got King's Hawaiian rolls for abs. Like, the dude's looking great.
But so at that point, Jordana Brewster goes back in to interrogate and leaving Allie out. The lights go out, and who should show up? Fucking Hard Eyes.
Yeah, and that's the way Jason would behave if Jason was in this movie, so that is what is happening.
Exactly. So, Hard Eyes, she's kind of dodging him. She's trying to stab him. Meanwhile, all the cops scramble, because this is now like that one scene in Terminator where Terminator kills all the cops. He stabs Hobbs. He stabs Hobbs in the dick.
Yeah.
Oh, but I forgot. Right before the lights went out, because that's how we know this is IT guy.
Oh, yeah, because IT guy walks in and is like, hey, don't I know you from like Bumble? And then Allie, I think she is on Bumble, by the way. I think we see that.
Yes.
She's like, no, I'm not on Bumble or whatever, which like is the right, even if you're on the apps, that's the right response. Like,
yeah.
Well, unless you're like interested and then handle it as you would. But like, I think it's fine to say.
I have run into a match in real life before. Yeah.
It's got to happen, right? Especially in big cities. It's got to happen occasionally. It's not super common, I'm sure, but it's got to happen. But saying like, oh no, that's not me,
right,
is fine if that's a weird interaction for you. Like I wasn't mad at her for lying to him.
No.
But this does set it up like, this guy's definitely going to be important later because he has way too many lines in the scene and we're like an hour into the movie.
And he's being creepy and hitting on her.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the level of creepy is determined by the person being hit on. Like if you were into IT guy, you might be like, yeah, he's hitting on me just the right amount. But she's not into it.
She's not into it. And she's like, no, I'm not on Bumble. I'm not on the apps, which should be the end of that conversation.
It should be. He should just be like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, my bad. And then just bounce and then be like, this person I matched with totally ghosted me to my face today, and he's going to go cry about it to his mom/therapist.
Well, because he leaves, and then she gets fixated on the closet because she thinks Hard Eyes is in the closet. But while she's fixating, that's when IT guy goes, dresses up, hits the lights. So now he's there. And he's the one who I think gets Hobbs in the dick because he was kind of a dick to Shaw earlier. So like
that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Hard Eyes is not going to be in the closet again. Allie.
Right.
What are they? R. Kelly? What are they? Tom Cruise? Come on.
Right. But I love that when he stabs Hobb in the dick, the blood just like splatters across his picture, which is great.
It is great. It's so campy. Like, I like it a lot. Yeah.
But at this point, that means Jay is stuck in the interrogation room, handcuffed to the table. And Allie gets into the adjoining room at the mirror and he's like, can you go get the keys? Hobbs has the keys, but like, he ditched me, she ditched me, I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
But who should manage to get into the room by entering the code, by the way, which should be a clue that it's one of the cops. This is Shaw.
It would have to be one of the cops if they knew the code, right? But I honestly wasn't thinking about that in the moment. But it makes perfect sense that would be Shaw.
Yep. Yeah. And fights him across the table until Allie, who managed to steal a gun from Hobbs on the floor, shoots through the mirror.
I loved this like reveal, that two-way mirror, because it is sort of bulletproof-ish.
Right.
So you actually hear a bullet hit the bulletproof glass or the two-way mirror glass twice, and then they both kind of stop what they're doing fighting like while he's handcuffed to the table, which was very cool in and of itself.
Yes.
And then they turn around and we see it's revealed her shooting at the glass.
Right.
And then the glass breaks and then she is a terrible shot because she's fucking in advertising, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, but she's not like a cop. Like, I mean, I probably wouldn't have the best aim and I've gone to places to shoot occasionally, you know?
Right.
But she is like trying to kill Hard Eyes and just misses every shot, which is believable.
Every time.
Yeah.
Hilarious. But she manages to get him unhooked from the table. They run out of the police station, chased by Hard Eyes. He dodges a truck. He pulls her to the side. They are about to kiss on the side of the road when Hard Eyes appears. And they're like, we're not together. Like, please stop. We're not a couple. But they go running to just lead him away. And they run into a carnival right around the drive-through movie theater. And at this point, she's like, we just brought a killing maniac to a killing buffet, basically. Like, there's so many people here.
It's literally full of cars.
Yes.
Full of people.
And Lover's Lane, too. So, like, it's exactly the people he kills.
Yes, it is exactly his, like, slasher trope type, right? It felt very like, I'm not sure if it's Jason. I'm pretty sure it's Jason when he goes to that party like in the woods and he's just like killing people dressed in costumes and stuff. It felt like that. It's like, never bring a slasher villain to a party in the woods or a party at a drive-in. Like it's going to kill everybody. And that's what happens more or less. But not before they climb into the front of a van and hide while two people full on just have fully penetrative sex feet from their faces.
It cracked me up so hard that the movie like they have this like intimate moment of like, this is, you know, she tells him about her dad and like why she maybe is not open in relationships. And he's like, hey, my parents had, but while that's happening, especially if you have subtitles on, there's one subtitle that just says rhythmic slapping.
Yeah. Paige, not only is it a subtitle, you hear it.
You hear it.
Like they're just having sex. Paige, it's really funny. If you watch the scene, the people having sex, are kind of responding to what people are saying.
Yes.
Like when she was like, my parents, I kind of lied to you. They did stay together and they were happy, but my dad just like died one day, you know? And then you hear one of them in the back who's like fully just about to have sex, like in the foreplay moment, be like, oh God. Like it's like a very sexy like performance of the line that you might deliver if you were having the conversation with her, like, oh God, you know, like, but she's just like, oh God, it's so funny to me.
The funnier version of it to me is when she's like slowly giving the information and she's going like one sentence at a time and they're like, more? Yeah, more? Yeah, more? And then she finishes and they're like, I'm so wet. I'm so fucking wet. It's the craziest bit and I love it. I love it. It's so funny.
It is very funny. Just the whole like them actually being a part of the conversation, but those actors are making the choice, the acting choice of, I'm going to deliver these lines like me and my other like co-star who are just in the back of this car and you're not really seeing are fully having sex. And because that's what, it's so funny to me that that's what they're doing.
But they get too loud. Hard Eyes opens the back of the car, stabs one of them through the head with a tire iron, and then pushes the other's head onto the other side of the tire iron like they're kissing.
Yeah.
And kills both of them.
It literally goes through the back of her head like it's species. Like it's too deep throat. It's too deep throat.
Yeah, way too deep. Yeah. Way too deep.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sure she doesn't have a gag reflex based on what we heard earlier, but like, even that was too much for her. But they take off. They get out of the car. They're running. Hard Eyes is now indiscriminately murdering people in this drive-thru. And one of them is a guy who gets out of the car. It is the director and goes like, somebody call 911. And then he just gets like a cutlass to the face.
Yeah.
Just like insta dead. It's chaos. But this is where, as they run, Allie stops and is like, if he doesn't kill us or if we don't kill him, he's going to kill all these people.
Yeah.
So like, we got to fucking go. And
we gotta face death together. Let's make this lifetime possibly commitment to each other. Like I actually I love the metaphor of it. And this is the moment that I think Jay is referencing when they go back here for like the 1 year later date that they go on. He's like, this is where I fell in love with you. And I think this is the moment that he realized that, oh, she is my person and she has chosen me as well. And how special is that we can be here again where we murdered Ethan.
Eli.
Is he important, Paige?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, it's one of them. Yeah.
She's got the straw as her weapon. She doesn't use it till later. But they basically...
I did love that she taps a jugular like a vampire would who was environmentally conscious. That shit was hilarious.
But they end up kind of surrounding him, fighting him. He tries to stab her, and like tackles Jay and drops the sword. So Jay has the sword. And then she hits him with what looks like a propane tank.
I think it is.
And he then falls backward onto the sword. So they killed him. And I do think it's wild that she barfs on him twice.
Well, Paige, it's because she shoots...
Because he got the blood in her mouth.
Yeah, Jay shoots something in her mouth she wasn't expecting this evening. It was not blood she was expecting.
Right. I don't think she was expecting the other either. So, always give people a heads up.
Always give people a heads up. And never give people a heads down like Hard Eyes does to the lady who gets tire ironed through the back of her throat. Paige, the equally as funny as the one you said was funnier than my initial one was funny was when she was talking about how her dad died, and then you hear the lady in the back go, oh my God, it's so hard. Like if you were saying that to a friend, you'd be like, oh my God, it's just so hard.
It's so hard.
You know, like it was anyway, that whole premise to me was like an SNL sketch that we were watching in this high budget movie. And I say high budget, but more budget than like an SNL sketch, but it's not a high budget. Yeah. It's very funny though.
But this is where they unmask him and they're like, who the fuck is that? Love that.
That's what it would be like. If you took off Zodiac Killer's weird fucking scuba mask thing, like that he had made it a neoprene or whatever, you'd be like, who is this dude?
Yeah, who is this dude?
I don't realize John Carroll Lynch or whatever.
Yeah, I forget the guy's name.
No, I think that's the actor who played the guy in the movie who they thought it was, who eventually I believe has been like the person that everyone sort of accepts is. But I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to check the... I love the movie Zodiac, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm right about the guy who played the character in the movie. Sorry. Nope, it was John Carroll Lynch. I looked it up. Nailed it.
All right, there you go. But The cops come and Shaw is miraculously alive, did not get killed by Hard Eyes. And I was like, she's in on it because...
Of course she would be because she is one of the Hard Eyes.
Well, but it's if you didn't know that yet, she would have absolutely been killed at the police station. How did she survive, right?
I would assume so, yeah, because he killed everyone in the police station.
Right. So she offers Jay a ride, offers both of them a ride, which I think if they had both gone, they both would have ended up kidnapped.
Yes, but it's very coded as like they think Allie, Mrs. Junior Republican National League or whatever, she is very much just like, oh my God, this cop is really trying to get with the guy I'm trying to get with. So it's not like we're scared of this person, but like possible romantic rival, which I thought was funny.
Well, and he's like, she's not my type or whatever.
But like it's Jordana Brewster. So
it's
like, would you believe your husband or your even like boyfriend if they were like, nah, she ain't my type?
I would, because my husband doesn't have a type. He's got a weight class and...
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But... they score this to This Year's Love by David Gray, which I think is incredible because it's in so many romantic movies. Like, it plays during the sex scene in Girl Next Door. Like, but it's a great song. It's just one of those ones that only seems to show up in romance movies.
I know. I kind of love David Gray. Like, I like his story. I like a lot of his songs. Babylon slaps. But yeah, you're right. He made so much money off of rom-coms in the mid to late 2000s to 2015s.
100%.
Yeah.
And they always play the same part of the song too.
Of course.
Is in love is
yeah, but that's like Third Eye Blind, Semi-Charmed Kind of Life. Like you don't play the lyrics where he's talking about doing crystal meth and getting blowjobs. You're just playing the Scooby Doo. That's the part you play.
Yeah. They literally cut it up. I'm locked in, I'm holding, smiling, she living.
She leaves for me. She says she leaves for me evasion. One motivation. She comes round and she goes down on me.
And I'll make you smile like the drugs for you.
Yeah, do ever what you want to do. Coming over you.
Yes.
It's a disgusting song that I know every lyric of.
It's a disgusting song that's so catchy. Yes.
Yeah. It's like Foster the People's Pumped Up Kicks. It's like you're singing along because you're not paying attention to what you're saying.
Pumped up kicks, better run.
Outrun my bullet. That's outrun my gun. You're right. You better run faster than a bullet.
Faster than my bullet.
Yeah. That song's about a school shooting, and everyone's like, it slaps. I mean, it kind of does, but like, it's also dark.
Super dark. Anyway, Allie goes home and she's like, I fucked up. I got cold feet. I should have told him how I feel. He's at the airport. I got to go to the airport. And this is where she calls her friend and gives that crazy speech that we read at the beginning.
Yeah, I read the speech earlier, but it's great. It has 7 different like rom-com titles in it, almost back to back.
I, in my notes, just said, because I watched the rest of the movie, I was like, please let this be a realistic airport thing where she gets there and they're like, man, without a ticket, we can't.
Yeah, she's like trying to get through TSA and they're like tackling her or whatever.
Yeah. We almost get that. What we get instead is she follows someone. She's like, Jay, and it's a completely different person. And she's like, wrong guy. Whatever. And then as she does that, Hard Eyes calls.
Yeah, because Hard Eyes isn't actually dead.
Right.
Because there were 3, and now there's only 2 Hard Eyes.
Right.
Oh, they killed Hart's third eye.
They killed Hart's third eye.
Aww.
I think he was kind of a hanger-on and they were ready to move on to a different, kind of situation, but yeah.
Well, but if you kill a group's third eye, they can no longer use crystals to heal them, Paige.
Well, that's a good thing because Crystal's her boss and wants to fire her.
Oh, shit, that is Michaela's name. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Anyway, they're like, meet at this one chapel, and it's the Chapel of St. Valentine. There's like a Pier 1 imports full of candles there.
Does Seattle have a St. Valentine's Basilica somewhere? Like, I don't know that exists.
According to this movie, they do.
But it does have, like, the most candles that they lit last week.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're all dangerously burned down.
The set dressing on this was cool as shit. I was here for it, though.
Oh, it looks very Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet.
It does.
Is what this looks like.
Yeah.
But this is where we reveal that David the IT guy and Jordana Brewster are 2 Hard Eyes. And they're like, then who did we kill? And they're like, Eli. He was our third. Like, he found out what we were doing in the chat room and it was like, fine, you could come along. Or whatever. It's so funny the way they explain it.
Yeah, he was like the hanger-on. They didn't really like that much, so they're kind of fine you killed him,
But we reveal that it's Shaw's ring. And this is also where they're like, I shot your Uber driver. I was in your apartment. I was at the whatever. And you're like, oh my God, it all works. Like, great. Yeah. Awesome.
I do like that they tie it up in a way that explains it all. Like, you're never left with questions. Thank you for that.
Never. But they basically tell her, they're like, if you don't love Jay, then you can shoot him and you can walk away. But if you do love him, you got to shoot yourself.
Yeah, because they gave her a gun with only one bullet in it.
Yeah.
And there's 2 of them, so feasibly she might kill one of them, but they'll kill her and him.
Yeah.
Him being Jay, right?
Right.
So she does hold the gun to her head like she's going to kill herself, and Jay is like, don't do it, or whatever. So she shoots him.
Well, she shoots his shoulder because she knows it'll go through and hit Jordana Brewster.
I don't know that that's why she does that.
You think she just had bad aim?
I do, because she even says, I overcorrected.
Because she says, I went too wide.
Yeah, so I think you're right, though. It does shoot both of them.
Right.
And I do think her intent was to shoot Jordana. I don't think for a second she wanted to hurt Jay.
Right.
But it doesn't kill him and he's fine. So it's like, it's okay, I guess. But I would struggle to date somebody after they shot me. Even if they were like trying to save, I would struggle.
Well, and this is where they use the crossbow arrow to kind of they get it through David's face. They knock him into hot wax.
But they don't shoot it.
Yeah, no, they just expand it.
Yeah, because it's like the expanding crossbows, which is the IT guy's weapon of choice, it seems, because whenever he's the guy, he's shooting crossbows. But he expands it and it goes in behind his eye, through his eye, out of his eye, into his nose.
Yes.
And it's that looked so painful, but definitely wouldn't kill you. It was one of those,
right.
I don't know how you're not passed out, because that would be so much pain. And then he does fall into all the wax that's just out.
So I think the reason they did that is because that's a really easy makeup effect to do and make it look good without spending too much money on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks great.
But she ends up fighting Jordana Brewster and impales her on one of the statues while also stabbing her in the neck with the straw.
Well, that's how she turns the table on her, because Jordana is besting her.
Beating the shit out of her, yes.
Yeah, you guys have seen the third act fight of any final girl moment. They're getting the shit kicked out of them or whatever.
Yeah.
And then she takes her straw out and taps that jugular like the most holistic vampire I've ever seen. And then literally kind of runs towards Jordana, who is staggered because she's pumping blood out of a metal straw.
Right,
and then almost picks her up a little bit, which is important.
Yes.
Because the Saint Valentine statue is, and I think it's not of Saint Valentine. I think the guy with the sword is a Roman centurion or something.
The guy who decapitated Saint Valentine, yes.
Yeah. Whoever that is, I don't know, but it's that person, because Saint Valentine is in his other hand, the head of Saint Valentine is in his other hand. So she shoves Jordana Brewster's neck onto that blade, and because she's a little bit too tall, the weight of her body decapitates her, and then her head falls too. And it's honestly a gross, really good effect. I struggled to watch this part.
I think they spent most of their effects money on that particular one.
It is good though. If you like gory shit, it's cool.
I love that she runs over to Jay, and we kind of forgot about David because he's got the thing in his face and all the hot wax, but he pops back up and they get him with the crossbow again. Planet saved.
I love how he pops up like he's a pig in I don't know, a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reverse, because he's squealing and covered in wax, and then they shoot him in the head with a crossbow, or Jay does.
He pops up like Jason in Friday the 13th part 6.
Yes, when he comes out of the water.
Yes.
He does kind of look like that too, because of the wax.
No. 6 is the one where they kill Jason 14 times all around the camp, and he just keeps standing up and coming for them.
Oh, I mean he looks, because of all the wax.
He looks kind of melty.
A little melty, and it kind of does look like when he jumps out of the water in the first one. It might be an homage to a few things.
A little bit, yeah.
It's definitely the trope of, which you see in a lot of movies like the one you said, and honestly most movies like this that have that final jump scare. This is it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We cut to 1 year later. They've had the highest sales. They did have a successful campaign. They worked together, but it's Allie's last day because she's going back to, as Michaela puts it, doctor school.
Yeah, she's going to doctor school, which good for her, because advertising is not for her.
No, but we cut to later that night on a date at the drive-in, and he gives her a key to move in, and then she proposes, and he says,
I loved this.
a million fucking times yes, just like the one in the beginning.
Yeah.
But there's no photographer because it's a genuine proposal. Not that photographers make proposals not genuine, but just the one in the beginning was only for the photographer.
It was only for Instagram. That's why I was this is gross.
Yeah, but this one is just for them at the end.
Right. And Paige, if you watched halfway through the credits, it's revealed that her best friend is doing the photographer thing. And she calls and she's like, yeah, I got it because I don't suck. It's really funny. It's like making fun of the people who she couldn't know and didn't know happened. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not mean-spirited, but it's very funny because she's like, of course I got it. I don't suck at photography.
I totally missed that.
It's very funny. I liked it because it's almost played like, oh my God, the killer's back, and it's not.
Right.
I like the way they played it. But,
and that's the movie.
So having seen the movie, having talked about the movie, what did you think about Heart Eyes?
I liked it a lot. I enjoyed this very, very much.
I thought it was definitely a fun horror comedy that people should check out. But I don't know that I'd watch it again. It does feel very formulaic because it is very much a love letter, which I think I like about it. But because of that, I'm not sure what the rewatchability will be for me with this movie. But I really do love that even though it is just like a love letter, it does have like an emotional core with, I think, like a point they're trying to make. That point being something around like the person you choose to love is the person you face death with, even if it's like a long time away, and I like that part of it. But I don't know that I'd watch it again.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paige, do you have some fun facts for us?
I do.
Well, here it is with your fun facts. Hard Eyes Fun Facts.
So the mask designer for Hard Eyes also created the killer masks for Freaky, Happy Death Day, and Totally Killer.
Damn, that's like a thing they do. That's like a job they do. That's cool.
Yeah.
They're good, though, because all those are pretty great.
Yeah.
And they're very different. Like, Hard Eyes is very different from, like, Happy Death Day.
Very different. Josh Rubin, the director, said that he wanted all the romantic moments to feel as Nora Ephron as possible while having the horror moments feel as Wes Craven as possible. And I think he succeeded 100%.
It did feel that way.
Yep. So the two detectives investigating the Hard Eyes killer are named Hobbs and Shaw, reference to Fast and Furious. And the screenwriter confirmed that had always been the case even before they hired Jordana Brewster, who, of course, played a large role in the Fast and Furious series.
I love that. That's amazing.
A news ticker early on in the film mentions the remains of a mailman being found under a bed and breakfast in Vermont, which is a nod to Josh Rubin's previous film, Werewolves Within, which I have not seen, but I feel like I need to now. The writer of this film, so I guess Josh Rubin directed it. I think the writer...
Yeah, the writer was Philip Murphy, although Christopher Landon and Michael Kennedy also helped. And I only know that because I'm looking at the IMDb right now page. Yeah.
Well, and Christopher Landon and Michael Kennedy, I believe, also worked on It's a Wonderful Knife.
They worked on Freaky.
That's what it was. Okay, so...
And Happy Death Day to You. Bunch of Paranormal Activities.
Because the writer of this film also wrote Freaky, It's a Wonderful Knife, and Time Cut.
Okay.
So they have an knack for genre blending with horror, specifically.
I definitely think that is true. Yeah, and I think they're great at it. Like, It's a Wonderful Knife was fun as shit. I loved it.
Yeah. And, of course, the movie playing at the drive-in is His Girl Friday.
Yeah.
And it does have the director cameo that he's the one that yells for 911. But those are your fun facts.
Well, thank you for those fun facts, Paige. Let's talk a little bit about box office. So what do you think the production budget was for Heart Eyes in 2025? It just came out, so this year.
This year, I think the budget for this movie was probably $30 million.
Ooh, Paige, it's lower than that.
Good for them if it is, because this looks like it cost them $30 million.
It does, and they got some songs that were probably not cheap. Anyway, it was $18 million.
This looks great for $18 million.
I agree.
Good job.
They did a great job. Although the team behind it seems like they've made this kind of movie, not exactly this movie, but like a horror bending trope movie more than once, and they know what they're doing. They're good at it.
Yes.
This movie came out on February 7th of this year, 2025. It was number 2 the weekend it came out. It was beat by Dogman. Number 2 was obviously Hard Eyes. Number 3 was Love Hurts. Number 4 was Mufasa, The Lion King. And number 5 was Companion.
Ooh, we got to do Companion at some point.
It's on Max right now.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think Hard Eyes made in its opening weekend?
People liked this. I think it did okay.
It was second at the box office that weekend.
Second at the box office, I'm going to say it made $12 million.
It didn't quite make $12 million. It made $8.3 million.
Oh, 9 was my other guess, but okay, go ahead.
It would have been close. I mean, you were close either way, honestly. Yeah. Now, this movie was third in its second week, but Paige, get this. It made more money. It made $9.8 million in its second week and was only third because guess what movie came out that weekend? Captain America Brave New World, which made $88.8 million.
Right.
But I mean, it still did really well. In fact, Dogman, that was number 1 the week Hard Eyes premiered, fell to number 4, and Hard Eyes, that made more money week over week, was 3 still.
All right. right.
So like it did great. I really do think people saw it and then they told people, were like, guys, it's actually really good. You got to check it out.
Yeah.
But after Valentine's Day, it didn't do as well. It fell out of the top 5 in its 3rd week, but in its 4th week, it was still in the top 10 at 8. It was in theaters for 8 weeks total, though, so 4 more weeks after the ones I've been giving you. But what do you think it made domestically at the box office during its 8-week run?
Domestically, I'm going to say this made $27 million.
You're close, Paige. It was $30.4 million.
All right, good for them.
It also made almost 2.4. It's $2.399 million internationally for a total of $32.8 million, which on a $19 million budget is a profit. So it did really well. And I'm sure it's going to do well in streaming. I mean, I just paid to rent it. You bought it.
I'm sure it's going to crush it in streaming.
It's going to do great.
Yeah.
So these people will definitely make more movies, which I'm happy about because I've liked a lot of their previous movies.
Yeah, honestly, I'm like, these people are 10 out of 10 for me.
I kind of like that they have this style of like a trope bending horror movie, or like maybe incorporating.
I like it, yeah.
It's almost like in Glee where they would mash up 2 songs you wouldn't know would go together so well. And you're like, damn, this is great. It's like they do that for horror and another genre. And I love that. And I love that they're not doing it in the same universe. They're like making a new movie every time they do it.
Yes.
I like that a lot.
I do think this is, I don't know, Happy Death Day is so fucking good. Other than Happy Death Day, this one's the best.
Over It's a Wonderful Knife, really?
Yeah. It's a Wonderful Knife was good, but this is way better. And Happy Death Day is probably the best, just barely.
Yeah, I mean, fair. I mean, I think they're all good, honestly. But yeah, interesting. But Paige, that's your box office.
Yep.
So do you want to hit us with that scary scale?
Sure. Our scary scale is a scale of 1 to 10 of how scary we found this film today, with 1 being Ghostbusters, 10 being Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Todd.
I'm going to give it a 3. It's not super scary, and body horror doesn't typically get me, but there's a lot of good gore in this, and I did sort of have to look away quite a bit, but it's good.
This is a 1 for me.
That checks out.
Yeah. But that's your scary scale.
So this week you made me watch Hard Eyes. What are we watching next week? And I honestly don't even remember what the theme is, Paige.
I know what we're watching next week. We didn't establish a theme. We were just kind of picking stuff because these are the tales, the freaky tales.
Oh, that's right.
Is out streaming.
Yes, I'm so excited about this because we will be doing Freaky Tales next week, which is a movie that we saw at Panic Fest. The directors were there. We got to see them answer a bunch of questions for about an hour after the movie. It was awesome. I can't wait to see it again. Like, I tried to see it when it was in theaters here, but it was literally only in theaters for 2 days in Nashville, and I just couldn't get tickets.
We always try to wait until something goes to streaming so the most people can see it. I will ask, because we've got this movie and then a whole other week, if you're listening to this, let's sound off in polls on socials. Do you want us to do Sinners while it's still in theaters? Because it seems like fucking everybody's seen it. Or do you want us to wait? Because if we wait, it's going to have to be like 6 months. But I'd love to do it now.
I'd go see it.
Right? Okay, so let us know if you're down to do Sinners while it's still in theaters. For Freaky Tales, it was not in a ton of theaters, right?
Yeah.
It was hard to find, so we knew that not everyone would have the opportunity to see it. But we also really want people to see it. This is one of those movies that did not get a huge splash. It didn't get a super wide release, but we loved it so much that we want people to see it. So like any eyes we can get on the movie, like we just want to help it get seen. So it is on Google Play, Apple TV, Fandango at Home, or Amazon Prime. It is a little expensive because it literally just came out, but please trust us. Freaky Tales. It is worth a watch.
If you like vignette style movies like Pulp Fiction,
Creepshow.
Yeah. VHS is kind of like it, although this movie ties the stories together way better than like a VHS does.
Yeah.
But it's like that kind of a movie. It's really, really good, guys. I loved it.
And to be transparent, it's a little more action than horror, but there is some body horror at the end. So like buckle up, trust us, it's worth it. The music is great. Especially if you grew up in the Bay in the 80s and 90s, it's going to be very nostalgic, but it is so much fun. And Pedro Pascal is in it. Trust us.
Is in the movie, guys.
No, don't spoil that for them.
All right, fine. But you'll have to watch it. Just watch it, guys.
And that's what we're watching next week.
Yeah, so that's your homework for next week, guys. Watch Freaky Tales.
So Todd, do you have any reviews for us?
I do, and a lot of the comments on Spotify that we got were about, let's just say, the alternate prequel Final Destination movie that we pitched in our Final Destination 3.
Oh, yeah. Emancipation.
What was it called? It was Final Destination, The Booth Job or something.
That was yours, was The Booth Job, and mine was Final Destination Emancipation.
Either way, I love it.
Either way, it'll blow your mind.
I love it. Can't wait. But this one I'm going to read from Sydney. Sydney wrote, fun fact, Mary Elizabeth Winstead played Mary Todd Lincoln in Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, which
Wild.
I do think we should do on this show at some point.
I just wish it was Cole Escola instead as Mary Todd Lincoln, that's a very nerdy theater joke, but that's from Oh Mary, who Titus Burgess also did a run. But it's basically like a one-woman show of Mary Todd Lincoln, and it's madness.
Love it. I also do want to read, I'm going to read 2 Apple reviews.
Okay.
One of which is a 1-star review, and it made me laugh.
Oh, fuck them.
They said, didn't make it 5 minutes into it. Got tired of 2 grown men talking about titties.
What?
Which,
What? What movie?
What 2 grown men?
Well, it could have been you and Mikey.
Either way. I'm going to read this 5-star review from HP Onion that says, I love this pod, 5 stars. They say, one of my top comfort pods. Want to hear about a horror movie you've watched from a bunch of your goofy friends who make good points occasionally? This is it.
That's fair. That's like the most fair description.
Honestly, occasionally, I appreciate that. That's very kind.
Yeah.
That means I'm right sometimes.
Hey, you know what? I may be a grown man that likes to talk about titties, but sometimes I make good points. Just like titties do.
At least 2 points. Yeah, love them. All right, but yeah, so if you want to have me read your 5-star Apple review or Spotify comment, do one of those things and I'll do just that. So guys, if you like this show but want to hear Paige and I talk about romantic comedies or just regular romantic movies, check out our other podcast, some might call it a sister podcast, called Romancing the Pod, where we do just that weekly. It's a lot like this show, but for romance and romantic comedies, because Paige doesn't like them. So we make her watch them, just like you guys make me watch horror over here. But if you want to follow me, I am at Todd J. Awesome on all the social media. Paige is at Rampage Wesley on Instagram?
Yes, and TikTok.
And just Paige Wesley on Twitter, because you got that before some CEO lady and she wanted it, but you wouldn't give it back, and I respect you for that.
Refuse.
Also, Paige
Suck it, other Paige Wesley.
Paige is also on another podcast. It's great. You should check it out. It's called Cult Podcast with Armando Torres, who is a wonderful person. And if you want to support this show, go to Patreon at patreon.com/horrorvirgin, where there are a lot of great levels and a lot of great things. We do the Patreon shout outs at the beginning of every episode. We do listener requests, stuff like that, bonus episodes. So you'll be getting all of that content, plus episodes a day early with no ads, and who doesn't love that? So sign up for the Patreon and get a lot of great stuff.
That's going to be it for us, you guys. I'm Paige.
And I'm your horror virgin, Todd.
Keep it ooky spooky.
Yeah, have an amazing week, guys. Bye! I can't wait till next week, nerds!